We're going to start the second lesson from the Shavavim. Shavavim means come back. That Hashem is saying this time of the year that the Yidden are in Gulas and Gulas Mitzrayim. And this is the time that Hashem is bringing back, that we read in the Torah, that Hashem is bringing back the Jewish nation. He's bringing the Yidden close to Him. So that's why it's the right time that Hashem is saying in these weeks, if we read the Torah, the same thing happens. Even though this was a couple of 3,000 years ago, but every year in the same time, there is something that if somebody wants to turn back to Hashem, he's going to have an easier time than usual. So, last week we spoke about Shavavim. What is Shavavim? Shavavim is come back to Hashem. And in order to come back to Hashem, there's only one idea, there's only one thing to do. In Parshas Shemos, the Torah spoke so much about having a house. They came with their houses. Hashem made them houses. What does it mean, a house? A house means that in order you should have good children, and in order you should be a good Yid, you should be Erlich, you need to have a warm house. Because without a warm house, it's not even possible. It's possible you want to come back to Hashem. You want to be close to Hashem. But it's physically impossible to be close to Hashem if you don't have a house. I'll just give a little example. When somebody is in the United States and he wants to go to Israel, he needs a passport. He needs to take with some luggage, but he needs to have a plane too. If he will not go into a plane, it's never going to happen. You could talk about going to Israel. You could even have a passport. You could even pack your stuff, your luggage to go. You have to make the move to go into the plane. And the plane has to go to Israel. If not, it's not going to happen. By talking about having a house, it's very nice. Talking about coming back to Hashem. One is a passport, one is luggage. You have to go into the plane. You have to make this thing work. Now, so last week we started, we want to have a house. We want to have a home. Not only for our children. I'm also a child. My wife is also a child. We are children from Hashem. We need houses. Understood, our children also needs houses. But you need to have a warm house. Warm doesn't mean Celsius, degrees. It means you need to have a loving house. A house that you understand what means a relation. You understand what means close to each other. You have to have it. And let's say this is the second week of Shavavim. It's the second week that we want to come back. So let's say last week we started. We're going to be good. We're going to start. We're going to listen to all the lessons from the website or the phone system. We'll call and we'll spend the $350 and we'll sit and listen and listen and listen. You have to understand the Torah shows us how it works. Now, it may be for the first week, wow, it was unbelievable. You had a week that you never experienced such a beautiful week. You never experienced such a relation, such feelings in your heart for your spouse. It's mamish like flying in the skies, flying in the clouds. The second week comes, in Moshe Rabbeinu, the hardship starts. It's not easy. It just doesn't go. This is the way Hashem made this world. The Maluchim, all the angels, they don't have this. Going, falling, going, falling, going, falling. They only go. They go higher and higher. Hashem likes humans. Why? Because you go and you fall. You get up. You go more. You fall again. That's the way it works. The first week, Moshe Rabbeinu spoke to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, to Hashem. And Hashem told him to go. And he went. It's gewaldig. It's unbelievable. By the end of last week's Parsha, something very, very hard, difficult happened. What? The Golas became worse. The Jewish people suffered much more. And Moshe Rabbeinu felt, yes, it's about me. I made them suffer. We can understand it's not a good feeling. As Moshe Rabbeinu feels, yes, I listened to Hashem. I wanted to be good. It wasn't easy for me, but I did it. And once he did it, so hard. The Yidden are crying and telling Moshe Rabbeinu, why did you do? What did you do? Who told you to talk? You shouldn't have done anything. Things would have been so much easier if you wouldn't try to help us. And it wasn't easy for Moshe Rabbeinu. Now, Moshe Rabbeinu, after he tells Hashem, what did you do? Hashem didn't answer him so nicely. Vaydaber Elokim. The word Elokim means Hashem spoke to Moshe Rabbeinu strong words. And Hashem told him, what do you talk? How do you talk to me? What do you think? I don't know what I'm doing? And Hashem's telling Moshe Rabbeinu a good piece of miser and tells him that, Abraham, Isaac, and Yaakov, they weren't like you. I told them things. They listened. They didn't ask no questions. It wasn't easy for Moshe Rabbeinu to hear this. Now, Moshe Rabbeinu is good. And Hashem tells him go to the Jewish nation and tell them, you're going to take them out. And Hashem tells them everything. Tells for Moshe Rabbeinu the whole story. Let's see what's happening. Moshe Rabbeinu comes to Paroi, and he was so arrogant. Paroi asks, who's Hashem? Moshe Rabbeinu tells him, Hashem sent us. And without bashfulness, it just says, who's Hashem? I never heard of him. Wow. Okay. Moshe Rabbeinu goes the next step and tells Aharon to throw down his stick, and it becomes a snake. Now, that was something. And Moshe and Aharon felt, wow, we could prove something for Paroi that Hashem sent us. The Pusik says, Vayikru gam Paroi lachachomem v'lamachashvem. Paroi called his smart little boys and the ones that do magic. Vayasi gamhaim, they also did the same thing. They threw down, all of them threw down their sticks, and it became snakes. I'm trying to imagine the face. I'm trying to imagine the feeling of Moshe and Aharon when Hashem told him, you'll be able to prove to Paroi that I sent you, and do this and this. And Paroi goes and calls, Rashi says, little boys, little schnooks, nothing. And Paroi tells them, do the same thing as Moshe Rabbeinu did. And they do it, and it happens. It wasn't easy for Moshe Rabbeinu, and it didn't happen once. It happened once, twice, 3 times, 4 times. The 5th time was the first time that Paroi's little boys tried doing it, and they couldn't do it. It was the first time they said, wow, Etzba Lekim, this is a sign from Hashem that we cannot do it. The Torah is teaching us, you want to go out of exile. We're not talking about exile. We're talking about the exile that you have in your own heart. The exile that you have in your own home with your wife and with your children. You're in exile over there. You want to go out of it. The way is go, listen, learn. But understand, it goes, this is the way it works. You fly up to the sky. You're like in cloud 9 for a couple of days. Then, wow, you fall down again. And then you do it again. Let me give it for an instance. Chas v'shulam, there is couples, they have emotionally an emotional connection. They have zero connection. So they go and they buy the lessons and they listen to it. And they have this good intention. Baruch Hashem, Baruch Hashem. For the last couple of days, they felt an emotional connection with their spouse to such a strong level. They never felt it in their life yet. But the problem is, they feel like, okay, from now on, it's going to be always like this. It goes by a couple of days, and they lose the connection. They don't feel what they felt a couple of days ago. The whole thing is, don't fall. Understand. You had zero connection. Be happy and thank Hashem for these 3 days that you felt for the first time in your life a good connection. Now it's going to happen. You'll have a day, 2 days, maybe 3 days without a connection. In Mirz Hashem, next time you're going to get a connection again, and it's not going to last for 3 days. Next time it's going to last for 5 days. And then you're going to lose it again. And then you're going to do it again. And then next time you're going to have it already for 8 days in a row. 8 days you're going to have a connection. With time, you're going to build it. That you should have a connection always. As long as you live with your spouse, you should have this gewaldige connection. The Beis HaMikdash is called a bias. This is the bias we're talking about. When somebody makes his house for a bias, vayaslu hem butem, they came together with their house. This means their house becomes a Beis HaMikdash. Why? Because in a house that is ahava achva shulam v'rayas, that means if you have love, like brothers love each other automatically. You have this feeling, this is my wife, I love her, no reasons, I don't need the reason to love her, just because she's my wife. Just like when you love your brother, just because he's my brother. He doesn't have to do nothing, I should love him. So that's the second one, achva. The fourth one is rayas. Rayas means you act to your spouse like he would be your best friend or his best friends. You act like friends. Friends spend time together. Friends talk a lot. Friends care for each other. Friends daven for each other. This means rayas. The last one is shulaim. Shulam means you have peace in your house. A house that has love and has brotherness, and it has Zeraya's friendship. In their house is Shuloim. Shuloim means there is peace in the house. There isn't the biggest blessing than Shuloim. Shuloim means you're happy. Happy with what? Happy with everything. You're happy with yourself. You're happy with your spouse. You're happy with your children. You're happy with Hashem Yisburach. You're happy for everything that you have. The same thing is, I gave one example with the relation. Let's give another example. Maybe there's going to be somebody that's going to relate better to that. Chas v'shulam, there is couples that they fight very frequently. I don't want to say 3 times a day, but let's say once a day. And this is their life for a while already. I found people 10, 15, 17, 22, 25 years after they're married. And they had no marriage. This was their marriage, but this is not called being married. And they listened to the lessons. They went online and bought the lessons that you could buy. It's made in order. It's made in a way that it should go into your head. It should go into your heart. And what happened was, they used to skip a day. In the beginning, they skipped a day. They started fighting instead of every day, every second day. After a while, they only fought once in 3 days, once in 5 days, once in 10 days. Then it's once a month. Then it's once in 6 months. Then it's once a year. And then hopefully never. When you really, really are in peace with yourself and with all the surroundings. When you have love. Having love means you give love and you receive love, both of them. And you have friendship. It's normal. It's understandable. We understand that people like this should never, ever, ever have a fight. So it's not enough to listen to this little couple of minutes. You listen to a shir and this is enough. It's not going to do it. In order to listen, you got to go, or you go to RebYaakovMoshe.com, or you go to 212-666-LIFE 5433. If you buy it on the phone system, you could listen to it, or you could watch it, or if you buy it on the web, you could watch it or listen to it. For 6 months, you could listen. By that time, you should have not only a house, you should have a palace. You should have a Beis HaMikdash in your house. Don't wait, because Shavavim is almost over, and you want to come back to Hashem to make a warm house for your children and for you and for your spouse and for Hashem. Have a beautiful day.